Hi, this is Steve Whitmore here with another AI adventure. Today I saw something that talked about how data should always have a story when you're presenting it. I decided to see what would happen if I used AI or asked AI what type of stories, IEP, social, emotional, or behavioral data, what kinds of stories that it would tell. I would like it to show some examples and corresponding to the idea of sharing this with parents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use ChatGPT and I am going to put in this prompt, which is I am a data-based expert storyteller that wants examples of different types of IEP, social emotional learning, and behavioral data, and the corresponding stories that I would use with parents. I want several examples of different types of visual data and the accompanying narratives. So let's see what happens. I've got some kind of notice there. And now that I'm looking, it's okay. Here we have a visual, okay? And so it's just showing me the data, visual bar chart. So it doesn't actually have the chart itself. I think it would have to make that in Excel or something. Here's another one with self-regulation. Each morning, your child rates how he's doing. At the beginning of the week, we saw some challenges with regulation, but by Friday, they were reported feeling calm and ready to learn. This pattern suggests that routines and reports, morning check-ins, and sensory breaks are really helping them settle into the day. So it's kind of nice. It's not what I was thinking, though. Behavior heat map. Now, this is interesting. This calendar shows the differences that your child has with behavioral challenges. Noticing that on Mondays and after a break tends to be rougher. So I actually don't have it here. They don't have the visuals. I was hoping it would show the visuals. Although here, it is showing a chart that could easily be seen if needed. Let me see. I'm wondering, because sometimes graphics are strange. Let me just see if we can get it to actually create the visuals. Could you please create the actual visual displays, i.e. line charts or pie charts or graphs to display the display the data. Let's see what happens. I just noticed I used please. We do have to remember that these things are actually not human, and so we don't have to do that. But hey, it's always good to be nice, right? And put positive kinds of energies into the room. Maybe I feel better when I do it. I don't know, and it improves my mood. But anyway, we're just waiting here for this analyzing to happen. It is interesting data. A lot of times I've found that sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen. So here we have some different data here. And so these are awesome because now we can see the actual kinds of things that people are looking at. I'm not a lover of sad faces, so I'm glad we don't see it here, any sad faces. Here's a visual displays that correspond with the different types of emotional bad. I'm going to, I'm just looking at these possible next steps. Let me just see what happens here. I like this apparent friendly one pager with visuals and narratives. Remember, always you got to double check your information. And also really think about, how much information you are sharing when you're using these kinds of platforms, because we don't know necessarily where that data might end up in the big picture. So, and also if you're doing this, you might want to talk with your district about whether you can use this data without informed consent, or do you need to get some kind of a consent if you're using data with something like ChatGPT. And so we're still waiting here. Other things that you might want to try this with would be Perplexity, Copilot. Although I did something similar with this in Copilot, and I just got some Python kinds of codes and stuff, which I just thought was a lot. It seems like I can't do advanced data analysis right now. Please try again later. In the meantime, I can provide you with a zip file with all the charts and the narratives for you that can be dropped into. Would you like me to do that? And I'm just going to say, yes, please. Oh, I've used my data limit for today. So we'll have to wait till next time. But, you can kind of get a sense of the different things that you can do. What I like about this, just generally, is just that we've got some ideas here of different ways to show information, and then, be able to see, some things that we might say when we talk about that data. All right, how would you use this in the future? Feel free to leave a thought in the chat box, and we will see you next time. Have a good day.